And we are live, people. Welcome back to the channel Chosen Wisdom Football. I hope you guys have had a good day. I hope you guys have had a good week. There is a lot for us to get through today. There is a lot for us to analyze in terms of transfer news. Listen, the Gyokeres situation is imploding in a way that I've never seen before. It reminds me of the Anthony situation a little bit, and the sporting director of, well, Sporting's director has come out and he has rebutted everything the agent has said. It has gone toxic, people, and there is a lot for us to analyze, a lot for us to talk about with regards to this Gyokeres deal, which in my opinion will probably drag on till the end of summer. So we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about the fact, is Gyokeres going on strike? Do you believe the rumors? Do you believe all the quotes that Gyokeres will now go on strike? We're going to talk about that today. We are also going to mention the fact that Manchester United have indeed made, potentially, according to some reports, made another signing. Yes, we are about to, or we have signed a centre-back from Southampton. So we will discuss that also on this channel. Listen, the garnacho fee has been set. Apparently, Manchester United have set an official fee of what they want for garnacho. Whether you believe the fee, whether the fee is too high or too low, we are going to talk about it today. We're also going to mention Man City. Man City are making moves, and yes, this is a United channel, and I'm a United fan, but we must also be aware of what our opponents, what the rivals are doing. And Manchester City have signed Reinders, Cherky, and Aït-Nouri. They are doing business, and they are doing business quickly and effectively. We are going to touch on that as well. Like I said, and like the title of the video says, people, you have to let me know, who do you want? Who would you prefer at this club at this time? Gyokeres or Osimhen? I know many of you will have your opinions. Many of you will have your thoughts. Please leave your comments below and give a reason why. Give a really analytical, give a footballing reason why you prefer Gyokeres over Osimhen. Last but not least, the breaking news as of today is that Arsenal have opened talks with Gyokeres' agent. What does that mean? What does that mean for Manchester United? What does it mean for Arsenal? How serious are these talks? And is this a reason for us to be worried, for us to be scared, for us to feel like the deal will not go through? So today, like I said, guys, there is a lot for us to get through. So leave your comments, get the chat flowing. I always interact with the chat, always, guys. So please, guys, leave your comments. Let's get some conversations going. And yeah, let's start the show. Let's start the show. And let's start the show, of course, with Gyokeres. Gyokeres. Or Gyokeres, or Glock 9, as many of you guys are calling him. So, as we all know, Gyokeres' agent came out and basically in a nutshell, paraphrasing, said that there were some promises, verbal agreements made between Gyokeres' camp and the club that around 50 to 60 million euros, Gyokeres would be allowed to leave for the summer. The agent was very clear when he came out, and the agent also said that the club is going back on their word, and now they are demanding up to 70, even 80 million euros for the player, which is against the verbal or the human agreement that they made. That is what Gyokeres' agent has come out with. That is what Fabrizio Romano and many others have quoted. However, as many of you know, the sporting director has come out and he has He slapped that all down to the ground. He's rebutted all of that, and he's basically calling that nonsense. He's using words like blackmailed. We will not be blackmailed. We will not be made a fool. We will not be manipulated. He's using these strong words. He's basically, and this is paraphrasing, guys, he's basically said that there's been no agreement between Gyokeres' agent and Sporting about the fee. Nothing agreed, nothing written down. The 50 to 60 million pounds or euros that apparently the agent has quoted, that has been rubbished. That has been rubbish, and the Sporting's director has come out and said they're not backing down. He will not be sold for cheap, essentially. However, he has said they're not looking for 100 million euros. They're not looking for that much. Like, we're supposed to be happy. Like, yeah, you're not going to charge us 100 million euros, yay. But they're looking in a range between 70, 80 million euros. That's what he's come out and said. So, as you guys can see on the screen, and I can read it for you, it says, I tried to take 3 days off. I came back yesterday. I saw so much information and counter information that it's only fair to come and explain the process. It started last year when the season ended and Sporting became national champions. During the transfer market, we saw that he was going to stay because there was no offer. Cool, fine. The agent spoke to us and added some clauses. Hugo Viana, from Sporting Director, as he always did, and very well managed the relationship with the agents. This relationship space is established with the sports director. Cool. One of the agent's biggest concerns was whether we would demand the termination clause. Hugo Viana negotiated with the agents over several meetings until the agent demanded the presence of the president. At this meeting, which included the president, the agent and Viana, Gyokeres was not present. He wanted to guarantee certain things. And what was agreed? That Sporting would not demand a release clause now. For one reason, he was going to be 27 years old. Cool. And no player leaves Portugal at 27 for 100 or 90 million euros. So he's basically saying, yeah, we didn't agree. We agreed not to sell him at 100 million or 90 million euros. And that's it. That's it. That's all we agreed, not to sell him too high. That's basically what he's saying, right? In that same meeting, the agent wanting to anchor the exit to a value. I said this sentence. It's not worth us setting a value because I don't know what will happen in a year's time. I don't know if it will be 40 million, 60 million or 80 million euros. What I can guarantee is that I will not demand 100 million euros. From then on, I never spoke to the agent again. I never spoke to the player about departures or values. Now I see the agent in the press releasing information. I want to make one thing clear. Sporting has common sense and keeps its word. Now, that is the official statement from Sporting's president. I said Sporting's director, but Sporting's president. The question now is, what does that mean? You guys can comment below, share your thoughts, but what does that mean? Like, what does it mean? Because he's also gone on to say, now blackmail and insults, Sporting will not accept. One thing is certain, Sporting will not accept 60 million euros. As of today, Sporting has not received any proposal. So, in one hand, he's saying he's not going to demand 100 million euros. He also said in a meeting, and these are his words, he said that it could be 40, 60 or 80 million euros in the summer. We do not know. We cannot set a price yet. So in his words, in the meeting last year, he said to the agent, it could be 40, 60 or 80. We don't know yet. He purposely didn't set a price. Now that the summer is here, he's gone and said, it's not going to be 60. So the three numbers he's given, 40, 60 and 80, he's basically saying it's not going to be 40. It's not going to be 60. It's going to be the high end of what he quoted in the meeting. It's going to be 80. For me, it's the Sporting president is the one being a bit dodgy here, because you cannot say in a meeting, give someone an indication that it's not going to be as high as 100 million euros, and it could be as low as 40, 60 or 80. And 60 is the middle, right? So if you quote three numbers, the average or the median number is the middle one. So if I go away, I'm probably going to think, 60 is probably where he will go. That's what you'd assume, right? If someone quoted you three numbers. Now he's saying it definitely 100% won't be 60. I feel like the Sporting president is taking the mick here. That's my opinion. Because you've given someone a thought, you've given someone an indication, they ran with it, and you're acting like you're not going back on your word, when in a way you've given yourself so much leeway between the figures, and now you're only going to demand the high end of what you quoted in the meeting. So I feel like he's been a bit disingenuous. He's using strong words like blackmail and insults, and this situation is not going to get any better. We've seen this before with many players at many clubs. What this means, guys, is that we're not going to sign him anytime soon. There's clearly a disparity between what we think he's worth, what we assume Sporting would have asked for, and what Sporting are actually asking for. Gyokeres has spoken about it. Gyokeres' agent has spoken about it, and now the Sporting look like they are doubling down. They're doubling down. So this puts the whole situation into a very, very toxic place. This is toxic. This is worse than Anthony. This for me means that, and don't forget, Sporting are the same ones that try to haggle us for Bruno. Bruno was about 26, I believe, around that age when we bought him. So he was around the Gyokeres' age, and they went around that summer trying to offload Bruno for about 70 to 80 million euros. No one wanted him. Even Tottenham and Liverpool rejected him. We, as a football club, were desperate in January because Lingard and Pereira were failing. And we went to Sporting and they tried to pull our pants down with Bruno. Was it 67 million pounds he cost in the end, or something along the lines, or euros? So Sporting have a history of taking the piss. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse because the news is that Gyokeres, whether you believe this or not, update of the situation is that Gyokeres is going to go on strike, guys. He's going to go on strike. And from my experience, when a player goes on strike, it doesn't really improve the situation. Often it makes it worse. Often there's threats of, someone being played with the youth team. Often they say things like, cool, we'll increase the fee for you. We'll increase the fee for you. So sometimes it doesn't really work. Often when a player goes on strike and only wants to play for one club, it makes the selling club resent the buying club. And the selling club makes it more difficult for the buying club to get the deal over the line. One of the main things that goes in Manchester United's favour right now is the fact that I believe, and we are told, I have been told, and the news really is that Gyokeres wants Manchester United, just like Mbeumo wants United. That is going in our favour. However, to caveat that even further, the news today is that Arsenal have indeed opened talks with Gyokeres' camp, with Gyokeres' agent. And I know a lot of you will be annoyed, frustrated, be thinking, here we go. Arsenal will now take, not only buy Sesko, potentially take Gyokeres as well. The one thing I will say about that situation is it's fine. It's fine for agents to speak to many other clubs. It's okay for Gyokeres' agent to go and speak to Timbuktu, to Chelsea, to whoever. That's fine. That's what will happen. And Sporting will probably like that, because it means they want a bidding war. They want a bidding war. And Manchester United, we don't do well in bidding wars. When's the last time we've entered a race and there's been a bidding war and we've won the bidding war? We don't really like bidding wars. One thing I will say is that I don't think Arsenal are going to get Sesko and Gyokeres. I don't believe that Gyokeres really wants Arsenal. I mean, if he has to, I reckon he'll go there. But Manchester United is his first choice, and I believe he is waiting for Manchester United. That being said, I believe that this deal will drag on. I don't think we have the money. I do think Sporting will probably want around 80 million euros, which is, let's say, 70 million pounds. I think that's probably what they want, and they'll probably get that, to be honest. We will try to go lower, as we think he's worth less, and we assumed that the deal would be less, but Sporting will probably ask for more, as I've just said. And that being said, and all of these things come together in some massive cocktail, means that this deal, especially when Manchester United keep releasing to us, keep telling us that they need to sell before they can buy. They keep saying this to us. And I don't know any players right now who is on the verge of leaving Manchester United. There's not a lot of talk on the exits of Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, Onana. There's not a lot of going on with regards to those exits. So all of that means that I believe, guys, we have to strap in. Strap in. This is going to be an annoying transfer. It's going to be frustrating. There's going to be times where we're like, oh, we're not going to get him. But I still believe we are going to get this player. I do. So let me know, guys. Comment below, please, as we always do. Let's have some conversations flowing. Yeah, let me know. Let's see what you guys are saying. Cultistic in the chat right now. We'll take Gyokeres if you can't get him. Clearly, you're an Arsenal fan. Go suck your mother. And I'm joking. I went from 0 to 100. When I saw Arsenal fan in the chat. I'm playing. Yeah, I don't even like the vibe of Gyokeres, to be honest. I prefer Osimhen. So that brings me on to the quote, the vote in the chat, which is, who do you guys prefer, Gyokeres or Osimhen? Before we go on and talk about Reinders, Cherki, Aït-Nouri, before we go on and talk about the centre-back that Manchester United have just bought, and also comment on the Garnacho fee, apparently, that we have set, let's quickly have a quick chat about Gyokeres and Osimhen. Guys, let me know. Who are you taking? Are you taking Gyokeres or are you taking Osimhen? For me, this is how I see both of these players. They are both goal scorers and they're both physical strikers. They're both quick. They both use their physicalities, and I see them more as physical strikers rather than technical strikers, if that makes any sense. Osimhen is a bit more pace and power than Gyokeres. He relies he's a bit more physical, which means I think he will probably do better in the Premier League in terms of physicality than Gyokeres. He's better with his head than Gyokeres. However, Gyokeres is a gunman. We're not talking, forget the leagues that they're playing in. Let's just look at the goals. Gyokeres scored about 54 goals last season in all competitions. And I had a stat up before that said that is more goals just in 1 year than Rasmus Højlund has scored in his whole career. Gyokeres is the gunman. He's not the most tidy. Both of them are not the most techie. They're not going to drop deep. They're not going to be Anthony Martial. Step overs and dribble with the ball close to his feet. They're not going to drop deep and lay it off the way that Zaxi does and the way that maybe Mateta will. They've got the ability to, but their first touch isn't always great. They are definitely more. They're much better than Højlund, by the way. Much better. But they're definitely more in the mold of a Højlund in terms of just being physical and not the most technical. However, in front of goal, Gyokeres, he is undeniable. He's undeniable in front of goal. I think he is better in front of goal than Osimhen is. I really do. I mean, the stats alone show that he is. But when I watch Osimhen and when I watch Victor Gyokeres, I just feel that Gyokeres offers more of a threat, especially going the other way and running in behind than Victor Osimhen. So I don't think there's a lot to choose between the two. But if I had to choose, I'm choosing Gyokeres. I'm choosing Gyokeres. Plus, the manager has worked with Gyokeres before. He knows the manager's game and he knows the manager's system. There is a stat now on the screen, guys, for you to look at between Gyokeres and Højlund. It's not the most clear, so I apologize for that, people. But it shows the difference between the two players. Not Osimhen, but the difference between Gyokeres and Højlund. And what I'm talking about, how we all know it's night and day. And Højlund cost us 70 million, 75 million, and Gyokeres potentially will cost us less. Yes, he's older than Højlund, but he's probably going to cost us less than Højlund, which is quite interesting. So that's my take on it. I don't mind if we got, and plus Osimhen, the story around Osimhen is that even though he's, some journalists are reporting that Manchester United is a dream move for him. I don't really believe that. He's rejected Saudi again. So a lot of people who state that he's all for the money. If he's all for the money, I don't know why he keeps rejecting that big bag from Saudi if he's all about the money. So Osimhen as an entity is a bit strange. I don't know what he stands for. I don't know what he wants from football. And I don't know how hungry he is to play for Manchester United. I see Gyokeres, and Gyokeres want to play for Manchester United, even though we're not even in Europe. We're not even in the Champions League. And yet this guy wants to come to Manchester United. So I see that as a good thing. And like Amorim said, when he's been asked about Gyokeres and asked about other players, he said, I want players to want to come to Manchester United to bring Manchester United back to glory, to help the team. I don't want players who just want to play in the Champions League and that's it. And if Gyokeres comes this season, that's proof that he doesn't care about the Champions League. He wants to play for Amorim. He wants to play for Manchester United. So what I'll say, people, to summarize this Gyokeres situation, don't be scared about the Arsenal links. It's fine that these agents talking to Arsenal. Don't be scared about what the sporting director is saying, the sporting president is saying. He's not saying they're not going to sell him or they don't want to sell him. He's basically saying that the fee that they sell him for is going to be higher than you think. So none of this means the deal is off. None of this means the deal is not going ahead. It just means the deal will be more difficult to do, which means it will drag, people. It will drag on. So I want to brace you guys for that. Expect this kind of deal. It's not going to be a nice, like the Cunha deal, or maybe in the Boomer deal. It's going to be a bit messy. Clearly, it's got toxic, and from my experience, it'll probably get even more toxic. If Gyokeres does reject training, doesn't turn up for training, refuses to play, yeah, this is going to be some nasty stuff, guys. So strap yourselves in. So that is a Gyokeres situation. Let's talk about this new centre back. Let's talk about this new centre back apparently that Manchester United have bought from Southampton. So the news is, and it's been reported by Sully Talks. He's a journalist that's up and coming, and it's been reported by other outlets that Manchester United have signed or just in the process of signing. So it will happen. Harley Emsden James from Southampton. This kid, and it is a kid, is 16 years old. So he's not for the first team at all. Before I continue, let me quickly read Big up yourself, Temsgen Deliso. I hope I haven't butchered your name. I hope I said your name properly. United, I want Gyokeres, Mbemo, Emi Martinez, Edison, Hayden, Hackney, Osimhen to United is better for next season. Please, in and out to United. Anthony Eriksson, Lindelof, Casemiro, sure. Yeah, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with anything you said. I can't. Yeah, I agree. I'm good with those. I'm good with those. I think United do need outgoings, and one thing that we struggle to do is get these outgoings out. We struggle to do that. If we can get Sancho, Anthony, and Rashford out, the person who did it, who's behind it, needs to get erased. If we can get them out, because we have struggled to get people out. But anyway, back to this centre back. So, like I said, we have bought this centre back, or in the process of buying this centre back from Southampton. It's not for the first team. It's not for now, but it's for the future. And when I hear this news, as you guys can see on the screen, when I hear stuff like this, it makes me think of Hayden from Arsenal, Cheeto from Arsenal, and it smells like Jason Wilcox. It smells like Jason Wilcox. He's got his hands all over this. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I have been happy with what Jason Wilcox has done. Hayden from Arsenal looks like a steal. Cheeto, I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's good enough yet, but I'm not going to write him off because he's only 17 years old. He's a baby. So I'd like Cheeto to go on loan. We used to send so many people on loan and get them to the Championship or to Antwerp. Remember back in the day when we used to send people on loan and improve them and they used to come back better. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that. We don't have a feeder club that we can do that anymore. We need to go back to doing that. Chelsea do it very well. Very well. And even if these youngsters don't knock on the door of the first team or don't get into the first team, they'll have great resale value. We need to get back to the times where our youth, our academy were churning out so many youngsters that they couldn't get into the first team and we had to sell them on for profit. We need to get back to this. So we've signed this 16-year-old. The Athletic is also reporting it, and it's also been reported that we will only have to pay Southampton 1 million compensation. Beautiful, Lillian. Beautiful. Listen, that is good business. I've said it many times. Certain clubs have certain good youth systems. West Ham used to have a great youth system back in the day. Jermaine Defoe, Rio Ferdinand, Anton Ferdinand, Michael Carrick, Frank Lampard, West Ham youth system. Not really these days, but back in the day, amazing. Palace, their youth system is getting better. Right now, Southampton, their youth system, Southampton have always had a good youth system. Whether it's Walcott, whether it's, I think, Gareth Bale, who came from Southampton, Luke Shaw, Southampton are also good at developing youth. So I'm happy with the signing. Like I said, he's not for now. He's for the future. But the reports are he is good. He is a hot prospect. So, Jason Wilcox, keep getting these youngsters. Keep buying these potential signings. It's a good system. It's a good system. Let's bolster our academy. So, if we do sell Sancho and we do sell our big players, some of the academy players can simply step up. How many times here do we say, where's our academy? Where's the next Makeda? And Makeda wasn't that great. Where's the next Yanizai? And Yanizai wasn't that great. We need to increase and improve our academy. So I'm happy with that signing. I'm not going to sit here and say I know a lot about this player. Nobody does. He's 16. But what I've heard through the grapevine is that he is quality and his potential is absolutely amazing. So it is what it is. Good bit of business. Like I said, Jason Wilcox and Vivell, good bit of business. Let's now move on to Garnacho. Now, there's not really a lot to say about Garnacho, apart from the fact that there's been almost two quotes regarding his fee. There are some people who are saying that Garnacho's fee, or what Manchester United are demanding or requesting for Garnacho, is just £50 million. Cool. But then there's other channels who are stating that United want upwards of around 70 million for Garnacho. I don't know which one you guys are going to believe. Do United want 50 million pounds for him, or do we want 70 million pounds for him? Personally, if you ask for my opinion, I don't think United want 70 million pounds for Garnacho, because 50 million pounds is about 60 million euros, right? If United got offered 50 million pounds, 60 million euros for Garnacho, I think they would take it. I do not see or do not believe that United would sit there and reject an offer like that and say, we want 70 million. You can argue, and I know some of you guys will argue, that Garnacho, not maybe in terms of his talent right now, but his profile, the fact that he's homegrown, the fact that he's young, he's only 20, 21 years old, means that we could easily demand 70 million pounds for him. I personally disagree. I don't think he's worth that much, and I don't think his value is that high. The fact that clubs know that we want to offload him, the fact that clubs know that he's no longer wanted at the club, already means that his price has gone down. They know we want to offload him. So the idea that we are demanding 70 million pounds for Garnacho seems to me a bit far-fetched. I don't believe that story. And like I said, on this channel, we don't just report what journalists are saying. We don't just report the news. We challenge the news. We think about it and we think, does this make sense? And I don't think 70 million pounds for Garnacho makes sense. Listen, if Manchester United were offered 70 million pounds, they will take it, but they're not going to. They're not going to be offered that much for Garnacho. So I don't believe that story. I think Charles Dunker has reported around the 50 million pounds mark, and I think the Independent are the source. The Independent are reporting on the 70 million pound mark. So we've got two different reports. Choose which one you want to believe in. I can't see the high fee. In terms of Garnacho leaving, I've said it many times on this channel. I think he should leave. I don't think he's good enough. I don't believe he's a good enough winger to play for Manchester United, much less a good enough number 10 in this system. I don't understand why the manager hasn't tried him as a wing back. I don't understand why the manager doesn't try a lot of things. I would have tried so many things during that season. We're losing off game after game after game, so I would have tried him at wing back at least once. I honestly thought that when the manager came in, Anthony and Garnacho could be played as wing backs. I thought he would try it, while he tried Anthony at wing back and Ahmad in a 10, and I think that worked. I think Ahmad and Anthony had a good connection, and whenever they played together, they played well, but he just never fancied Anthony. So I think Garnacho's attitude, his entitlement, and some of it, and I've said it many times, is because of us. We are so desperate for a hero all the time. We're so desperate for one person to save us. We put all the weight, all the pressure on this little kid. This kid came out, scored one goal, and all of a sudden he's Jesus. We sang songs about him, made songs about him. He also attached himself to CR7. And I've said it many times, I know he goes to bed with CR7 boxers on. And he's taken a lot of CR7 fans and made his fan base is much bigger than the talent he has awards for it or allows for it. We've created this egotistical monster, and he doesn't get half as much hate as Rashford and Sancho, who've done much more than him, and who haven't done half as much as him in terms of his toxic attitude. So I need Garnacho to leave, and I need him to leave yesterday. So that's it about Garnacho. 50 million pounds. Listen, United, take that money. No to Arsenal, no to Chelsea, yes to Napoli. The issue with me, or the issue I have with Garnacho going to another Premier League club, is the fact that despite everything I've said, I do not believe Garnacho is crap. I don't actually believe he's crap. I believe in the right system, because he's a direct winger. He might not be able to go past somebody. He's not that quick, right? So he's not going to go past someone with his pace or anything, and he's not the most skillful. However, for the right team, in the right setup, he can be effective. We've seen that. We've seen him come off the bench for Manchester United and have an impact on a game. It's when he starts games. It's when he started 30, 40 games in a row, 2 seasons in a row, where we've gone from being a top 6 team now to finishing 15th. He's not good enough to start, but off the bench, he can impact games because he's direct and he's just different. So I'm not here to say he's absolutely dog doo-doo. And I know another team could get something from him. I just don't think it's at Manchester United. Under these conditions, playing in a number 10 role, playing for Amrim. So that's my stance on Garnacho. So we've spoken about Sporting president and what he said, his rebuttal, his strong words. We've spoken about Gyokeres potentially going on strike. We've spoken about Arsenal coming in for Gyokeres, what that means for Manchester United, what that means for us signing him. We've spoken at length about that. We've spoken about the new centre back that we have signed from Southampton. We've touched on Garnacho. Let's quickly touch, guys, on Man City. And I'm not going to say much about Man City, apart from the fact that why are they doing this? Why are they doing what they're doing? How has Man City managed to secure in the first whatever days of the transfer window, 10 days or whatever, Reinders, Cherky, and 8 Nori? Like, and I'm pretty sure the Cherky deal is around, I think, £35 million. Like, what? And 8 Nori and Reinders are both less than 50 million. So it's like they've managed to sign 3 players, 3 quality players that walk into their team for less than about 120 million or something like that. I don't know. Like, and do you know what it is? It's the Cherky thing. Like, he is so good. If anybody has watched that guy play football, you know how good that guy is. And the fact that they got him for about, was it 35 million pounds? I don't understand that. I don't understand how. And it pisses me off. It does. It pisses me off. I'm like, what the hell? And I always say this, no matter how good deals, no matter how good you think Manchester United's transfer window is, if someone else is having a better transfer window, we're not gaining on them. The gap is widening. That's why we're in 15th. One of the reasons why we're in 15th is because every time we have a transfer window where we sign, I don't know, Mason Mount, Ugarte, Hoyland. Someone else is buying a Cherky. Someone else is buying a world-class player. So we've had a good summer. We've increased our squad. We made our squad better by 10%. We made our squad better by 10%. Let's say, for example, right? What if Liverpool and Arsenal are making their squad better by 20%? That's a net loss of 10%. We are getting worse relatively. Objectively, we have got better because the players that we bought are better than the players that we had, right? But other teams are buying even better players. So the gap is widening. And that is my worry. My worry is that the gap will widen if we do not get certain deals over the line this summer. The gap between us and the top 2, 3, 4 teams will continue to widen. And that's not what we want. I just hope all of these players that Man City are buying don't gel. I hope Pep squeezes the creativity, like he often does, out of a lot of these players. Plays a very rigid tippy-tapper football where no one can move and no one can be expressive. And Man City just flop. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I feel like Pep is going to treat this season like the Avengers. Like, he's going to come back strong. And he's here to slap some people up and punch some people in their throat. I feel like that's what Pep wants to do. Like, and it's scary because even people like Jack Grealish, apparently he's been ostracized. He's been left out of squads. And Jack Grealish can't even get into the squad. And Jack Grealish, I reckon, would walk into our team. Yet he can't even get into the Man City squad. So, guys, like I said, I feel like this summer we're gonna get deals done. Things are gonna happen, but after the fast start that we had when we got Cunha straight away, things have slowed down, and a lot of people are getting worried. A lot of people are getting frustrated, and all I have to say is be patient. I had a feeling this was going to happen. I was told by my connect that this was going to happen. Certain deals will still happen, but they will just take longer to do. That's all. So, yeah, guys, what Man City are doing is just absolutely pissing me off. I'm not going to lie. And apparently, it's been announced that while the deal is not finalized fully, but we all know Wirtz is going to Liverpool. We all know that. That's a game changer too. That's a game changer. I feel like Slot now is going towards more total football. If you're going to get Wirtz and play him in the midfield, they're moving slowly away from that sort of heavy metal football that he has inherited from Klopp, and he's probably going towards more total football, which I think is what he wants to play. It's scary. It's scary. I still feel like the teams to beat so far, according to the transfer window and the signings or potential signings they could make, are Liverpool and Manchester City. If Arsenal get Sesko over the line, it means they've got a striker. How good Sesko is, I've seen some of him. Will he make a difference? Will he adjust to the Premier League? Because at the moment, Arsenal and Arteta seems to like the type of striker who is more of a footballer, not the Haaland who just wants to score goals. Arteta probably prefers the sort of footballer who wants to drop deep, link play, and score goals. Is Sesko that footballer? I don't know. Arsenal have needed a striker for years now. So I do believe that Sesko he'll add something to Arsenal. He will add something, but I don't know if he is what's going to make Arsenal finally win the league. I do not know. So, yeah, here we go for Wirtz to Liverpool. So that's practically done, like I've said before, as you can see. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Like Sesko, he's very athletic. And now you can see on screen the video of him scoring goals. That's what you expect from Arsenal. That's what you guys gonna. Will he do it straight away? He's coming from a poorer league, as you like to call it. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Comment below, guys, if you can. What do you feel? What do you think will happen to Benjamin Sesko at Arsenal once he gets there? Let me know. Comment below, guys. And I feel like that's it. I feel like that's it in terms of my comments and in terms of what I believe has happened today. There's not a lot of other news to report from Manchester United. Let me just quickly skip through Twitter just to see if anything else is happening today, guys. What's going on? John Cena acting a fool. Oh, wrestling. Let me know if you guys are wrestling fans as well. If you guys keep up with all of that stuff. I try to keep up with wrestling. John Cena winning the title from Cody Rhodes and all of these things. And Mbumo, what are people saying about Mbumo? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like a lot is happening. With regards to Mbumo, I still feel like that deal will happen. That deal will happen before the Gyokeres deal. The issue, as I said in the last stream with the Mbumo deal, is that Manchester United are trying to package the deal in a way that I don't think Brentford want. I believe Brentford want as much money upfront as possible, while Manchester United are trying to structure the deal without paying that much money upfront. I read somewhere, guys, and please tell me if I'm wrong, please. But I read somewhere that the Cunha deal, we are paying Wolves £1 million a month. £1 million a month for about 4 years or something. That's what I read. And if that's the case, that is some diabolical shit. That's that. But imagine someone saying it's gonna be worth £60, and you say, "Cool, I'm gonna give you £1 a month." That's crazy. If that's the deal that we've managed to negotiate with Wolves, that we will pay them £1 million a month, I need to find that negotiator, because that's amazing stuff. Because inflation and all these things will, I mean, I guess that might be written into the deal, right? Interest and all these things, but the cost of £60, £60 million today is not the same as £60 million in 4 years' time. We know that interest and inflation means the price should really go up. £1 million a month. I mean, it will help with Wolves' cash flow, I guess, if they're receiving £1 million every month. So that might be the reason why Wolves agreed to it. But I don't know if that is true, people. I don't know. If it is true, please comment below and correct me. But that's crazy. Let me see. Let me keep strolling down to see if there's any other news. Apparently, 7 hours ago, Manchester United are willing to pay 70 million for Gyokeres. Goalkeeper news. Are you guys happy with the Emi Martinez news? The one thing I'll say about Emi Martinez, people, is the fact that the reason why he doesn't play for a top team, because he used to play for Arsenal, a top team, and he was sold because he wasn't good enough. He was sold because he's erratic, and he was sold because he's a bozo, right? He made mistakes. We've clearly forgotten that. And while he's been at Aston Villa, he has performed more consistently and he has played better. But let's not forget that last game of the season, we saw the real Martinez. The last game of the season, he got sent off, right? And he's going to miss the first 3 games of the new season. And that sending off, right? Why he was out there that far away from the goal, I do not know. That stuff is why Emi Martinez doesn't play for a top team. That stuff. So while I still believe he's better than Onana, I'm not over the moon that we are getting Emi Martinez. I'm not. While I do think Onana needs to be changed, we do need to change a goalkeeper. If you told me that we were going to start the season with Onana in goal, but with Mbeumo, Cunha, and Gyokeres as strikers, I wouldn't be angry. And the reason why I wouldn't be angry is this. The 5 major mistakes that Onana made last season. The corner, conceding a goal here, the parry out in I think Bournemouth game when he parried the ball out, the ball going under his arms, through his legs. He's made at least 5 errors, right? In about, let's say, 40 to 50 games that he played last season, which is, in terms of percentage, is not that much. I mean, if you look at the outfield players, we had the worst season that we've ever had in our history, right? And every player, including Bruno, was incredibly rubbish that season that just went. Incredibly rubbish. Bruno might have had a few good games after January, but he was on the field when we lost all the games. So our Højlund was trash last season. Garnacho was absolutely rubbish. And I believe Onana was just as bad as everyone else. The issue is that you can't be as bad as everyone else and be in goal, because your mistakes in goal lead to us conceding goals. Bruno's mistakes don't necessarily lead to us conceding. Garnacho losing the ball all the time and playing trash doesn't necessarily lead us to conceding, while Onana's mistake will lead to us conceding a goal. If we had a better attack who scored goals, Onana making a mistake and conceding 1 goal will not matter if we are scoring 4. I'll repeat, just in case you guys don't understand. Onana making 1 mistake every 5 or 6 games, let's say, won't have an impact this season. Hopefully it won't, if we buy the players, if we're scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. The issue is We are not good in attack. The issue is we don't score goals. Our goal scoring record is probably the worst in the league. And because of that, once we concede, we lose. If Onana makes a mistake, there's no striker. There's nobody to get us out of the rut that we're in. There's no one to dig us out of the hole once a goalkeeper makes a mistake. And that's not the mistake is the goalkeeper's fault, but it's not his fault that we can't score goals and can't rectify. If we start scoring goals, Onana becomes less of a problem. Do we need to sell Onana? Yes. Yes, we do. But I still would prefer a midfielder before we sign another goalkeeper. That's my preference. And I know many of you guys will disagree. Probably think we need a new goalkeeper before we need a new centre midfielder. But Onana played for Ajax. He played for Inter Milan. And he wasn't doing a lot of these things. He wasn't. Whereas Højlund's trash, and he's not been good anywhere he's been. So that's my opinion. That's what I think anyway. It is what it is, people. Those are my thoughts. Anyway, as usual, let me know what you guys are saying. Let me know what you guys believe. Do you think any of these stories are true? You know, the garnacho fee, the new centre back. Let me know if you guys have any information about this new centre back as well. So yeah, guys, keep the conversation flowing. Let me know your thoughts. And I think we're out. Oh, before we go, let's see this poll. I am surprised. Who is your pick for striker? It's not clear. Well, it's clear enough that most of you actually want Osimhen. I'm not going to lie, people. I am surprised about that. I'm surprised that most people want Osimhen over Gyokeres. Susan says, I think the hype about Gyokeres is working against him. So you think that all the talk about his goals, all the talk about how much he scored, you think that's working against Gyokeres? That's interesting. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm surprised that most of you want Osimhen over Gyokeres. I did say this. I did say that I don't think there is a lot of difference. I feel like Gyokeres is probably a better finisher than Osimhen, but I think in the Premier League, Osimhen, I reckon, might do better because Osimhen is more Drogba. Osimhen is not going to get bullied by defenders. He's not. So Susan says United fans have been swindled before by stats. Yeah, hey, that's the thing. I mean, Gyokeres has better stats. His stats are incredible, but what I will say about Gyokeres and his stats is that no matter what league you're playing in, this is my belief, no matter what league you're playing in, if you are scoring more goals than there are games, you got to respect it. If there's now only 50 games and you're scoring 54 goals, even though you're playing in Portugal, you got to respect it. I mean, you can argue what's the tougher league, the Portuguese league or the Turkish league? Who's played in harder leagues? Because Gyokeres came from the Championship and then went to the Portuguese league. Osimhen's come from Italian league and now he's playing in a Turkish league. And the Turkish league is now viewed as one of the top 5 or 6 leagues in Europe now. The league is actually respected. And so is Italy. So I don't know who's playing in a stronger league. Osimhen's goal record isn't the worst either. It's good. On screen, you've also got stats, and I'm not quite sure if you guys can see it. Højlund versus Osimhen stats. Yeah, aerials. As you can look at the aerial percentage, Osimhen 93%. Crazy. Osimhen, yeah, in the air is a beast. is a beast. Pass into the box. I mean, to be honest, I don't even need to go through these stats. Like, Osimhen clears Højlund in every one of these stats. Most strikers clear Højlund in every one of these stats. So this is just a bit of context for you guys. On this channel, we try to get stats, but stats, as we know, stats don't paint the full picture. We know stats don't paint the full picture. Stats only tell you what the stats tell you. The goal scoring stat tells you how many goals he scored. It doesn't tell you how he scored them. What was the situation? How good were the goals? It doesn't tell you anything like that. It just tells you how many goals. So let's not get twanged too much by stats. The eye test, like I say on this channel, is always the best way. The eye test. The problem with is that stats are the lazy way of verifying, of analyzing a player. There's a lot of people who've never played football before, who are armchair football fans, who don't know what to look for when they're analysing a player, don't know what a good footballer looks like, don't know how to assess someone's first touch, someone's movement, someone's vision, someone's short passing. They don't know how good you have to be to dribble with the ball close to your feet. They don't know how difficult certain things are. And so they will start rating players just because they get good stats. And some of these players who are the stat heavy aren't the best technical footballers, aren't the best footballers in the world. So you will get to a position where a player is getting 40 goals and assists, but he's still not that great. And you want him to win the Ballon d'Or just solely because of his stat, when he's still not that great. So stats, as we all know, should be used to inform or re-inform what you see with your eyes. It shouldn't be something you go to first to prove a player is good. Eye test first, then go and see if the stat backs up your eye test. Not stat first. That's lazy. So it is what it is, people. Susan as well in the chat saying, if Gyokeres will go on strike at his current club and end badly, then that's not good business for the new club. That's a common thought. I understand that thought. If the player that you're buying is already going on strike, acting up, misbehaving in his current club, that apparently doesn't bode well for his new club. What is to say that he's not gonna do the same or be the same when he comes to Manchester United? So I understand that rhetoric. I understand all of that. I just believe that if someone, because he wants to come here, he's not going to misbehave. Gyokeres is 27. So this move to Manchester United is probably his last big move. He'll have a 4 or 5 year contract till about 31, 32, and that's it. So I don't think he's going to come here and start acting up. But I hear your point. You will be worried, very, very worried, if Gyokeres comes here and starts behaving the same, starts throwing his pram out, starts saying that he's not going to train if he doesn't get a move to Madrid, let's say, in 3 years' time, if he wants to go to Madrid, for example. So I get that sentiment. I get that worry. I do. But I just don't think that happens at Manchester United that often. There's also some stats on screen, guys, between the two, Gyokeres and Osimhen. I know a lot of you have already made your mind up with regards to who you want. And I've said stats aren't the most important thing. And I've seen both of them play. So seeing them play is more important. But these are decent stats for us to compare. Decent stats for us to mull over. Similar amount of goals. Like, yeah, Gyokeres has played 3,000 minutes more than Osimhen. Similar amount of goals. Gyokeres has more assists. He's taken more shots slightly. He has more key passes than Osimhen. I see when I watch Gyokeres, he does drift over to the right and he does drift over to the left, similar to what we kind of want Højlund to do, but he just does it. Gyokeres is older, so Gyokeres knows himself. One of the things that I'm happy about is that Manchester United seem to be going for tried and proven players that don't need to develop, don't need to understand who they are. They already know who they are. They know their limitations as footballers. They know their strengths as footballers, and they know the system. All three of the attackers that we are in for, know how to play the system that they're about to play for us. So that's also a good thing. So let me know, guys. Once again, the poll is still up for the next few seconds as the stream continues. But put it this way: if Manchester United said that they were going to go for Osimhen, right? And somehow, I don't know, Napoli demand less. Say they demand, let's just say Napoli said £50 million for Osimhen. Do you think Manchester United would turn and go, do you know what? Let's sign Osimhen for £50 million because Sporting are taking a piss and they're demanding £70 million. I think that would be a possibility. If Osimhen is serious, and I don't know, a lot of people are calling him a mercenary, he wants money. They're painting a very negative picture of Osimhen in the media. They are. I don't know the guy, but they are painting a very negative picture. But if something switches, the fee for Gyokeres is too high, and Napoli go, do you know what? We don't want £80 million for him. We want £60 million for him. Would United be interested in Osimhen? Because they're keeping tabs on Osimhen. Gyokeres is the guy that United want, yes, but they're keeping tabs on Osimhen. So we will see. As usual, guys, let's watch this space. I will be reporting on everything I hear, everything I see in the media, all the news for the day. I will come here every day at 7 p.m. to talk about it. We will discuss it in detail, talk about what it means. We will analyze it, do a bit of critical thinking. Like I keep saying on this channel, we will look at the news, look at who's saying it, and we will give our own opinions. Please, guys, get involved. Leave your comments. Get involved in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking of all of these topics, because I need your help, people. I can't do this on my own. I need your input. I really need your input in all of this stuff. So let's go, man. It's going to be an interesting summer, people. It's going to be crazy. So all I can say to you is strap yourself in, smash the like, turn on your notifications, subscribe if you haven't yet. Subscribe, people, please. Brand new channel. Like I said, I'm always going to interact with you guys individually. Let's keep it moving. Before I go, let me quickly read out Susan. Susan, you're on a roll in the chat right now. Osimhen has got similar stats in 30 less games. When he reaches minutes played that Yok has, he would surpass him. You are a Osimhen fan. Clearly, I get that. Like I said, I'm okay with either. I want Gyokeres, I do. But if that deal falls somehow and we turn our eyes to Osimhen, I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be angry. I feel like Gyokeres looks a bit more polished, though. I did say both of them are not the most techie, but out of the two, I just feel like Gyokeres has a slightly more tech, and I feel like Osimhen is just a bit more powerful and stronger and direct. That's how I feel. And that means I feel like Osimhen, in a way, could do better in the Premier League. Could do. We will see, people. We will see. As usual, guys, like I said, smash a like. We will be back here tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Big up yourselves, people. Big up yourselves for all the love and appreciation. And yeah, Chosen Wisdom Football